So this week, I'm really hot on this story about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland man who may or may not have been mistakenly deported to El Salvador by the Trump administration. There are a lot of tensions right now in the legal world over his return to the United States, and the media here is really just itching for this constitutional crisis that they've been sort of crying wolf about since the beginning of the Trump administration. But it's actually not clear at all that the Trump administration is flouting a judge's wishes in this case, even though at the moment, Abrego Garcia remains in El Salvador in prison. And so just talk about some little known facts about this case right now, okay? First, a DOJ lawyer who argued this in front of the original judge, the district court judge, was removed from arguing this case by the DOJ. It's a really rare step. The DOJ said that he failed in his duty of zealous advocacy. So it's a big deal that the DOJ is saying potentially a Biden holdover here, intentionally argued poorly in front of the judge to effectuate the mess that we're in right now. That's an allegation that Stephen Miller made on Monday. Also, an immigration judge in 2019 found credible evidence that Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13. So this idea that there's no evidence tying Abrego Garcia to a gang, that is false. An immigration judge certified he needed to be removed in 2019 because of those ties, and he was denied asylum, which is notoriously easy to get for a lot of migrants. So I think the whole story is not being covered here, and it's not at all clear that the Trump administration is who's in the wrong here.
And this is one of the reasons why the American population as a whole has become so much more dramatically hawkish on the immigration issue, because it has sort of felt like Lucy with the football in terms of, oh no, actually, this is a totally innocent person. And then, I need to dig 5 different stories to find out that immigration said they had a very reliable confidential informant that was used by the police in order to verify this. It wasn't just one guy in a parking lot of Home Depot said that he had ties to a gang, because that's what you kept on hearing in the mainstream media. And look, I mean, I feel for this man in the sense he came here in 2011 illegally, married, had children. There's not much evidence that he committed any other crime, right, until he was detained by ICE in 2019. But the fact is, the American people support this. DHS, which used to be one of the most unpopular parts of the federal government, now, according to Harvard-Harris poll, it has a net plus 25% approval rating, which makes it the 3rd most popular part of the federal government, like after the military. So I think it's just people are, if this were 6 years ago and we were still debating, do we do DACA for a wall? No, we had however many, over 10 million, 11 million illegal migrants come during the Biden administration, and people are sick of making the excuses. And look, I think obviously the Trump administration needs to comply in terms of with the Supreme Court in terms of facilitating that removal. But the order doesn't say that this man needs to come back to the U.S., right?
That's right. It says that he just can't be taken to El Salvador, which is the only order that had been placed against his removal. Was he couldn't be taken to El Salvador because of what one judge thought was a credible claim of fear of persecution there. But you're right, he could be taken anywhere else. And so I think a lot of the coverage has been misleading of this.